Good morning, students. Let us start with malaria, next common disease that is found in human beings. Some of the human diseases are caused by protozoans too. We have seen the diseases caused by bacteria, diseases caused by viruses. Now it's turn to study the diseases caused by protozoan. Malaria, it is a disease in a man with which the man is fighting since many years. Plasmodium, a tiny protozoan, is responsible for this disease. The species of Plasmodium are Plasmodium vivax, Plasmodium malaria, Plasmodium falciparum. They are responsible for different types of malaria. Of this, malignant malaria caused by Plasmodium falciparum is most serious one and can even be fatal. Let us take a glance at the life cycle of Plasmodium. Okay, so when the female Anopheles mosquito, which is carrying Plasmodium in the form of sporozoites, that is infectious form, in its saliva bites a healthy human being, Plasmodium gets entered into that human being. After that, it reaches to the liver, where initially in the liver cell it multiplies asexually and releases so many sporozoites. Now this will enter the RBCs, and which leads to the rupture of the RBC, which is associated with the release of hemozoin, a toxic substance that causes high fever and chills. This time, some of the merozoites who have entered the RBC develop into gametocytes for the sexual stages, which do not result in the bursting of the RBC and move in the blood as it is. But the other released parasites infect new RBCs and cause them to burst. The flowing gametocytes in the blood are transferred to the another female Anopheles mosquito when it bites the infected human. When the mosquito is sucking the blood, along with the blood, the gametocytes are transferred to the mosquito, wherein the mosquito fertilization and development of the gametes takes place in the gut of the mosquito. Herein, sporozoites are formed which are released from the gut and moves towards the salivary glands of the mosquito. Once it gets into the salivary glands, now if this mosquito bites any healthy person, these sporozoites are transmitted to the healthy person and causes the same cycle as it was in the first host. This way, we can see how the mosquito helps to complete the life cycle of Plasmodium in the two hosts. Let us try to understand with this animated video. The mosquito bites the human and releases sporozoites in the human blood, which were there in the salivary glands of it. These sporozoites, when enter the human body, they migrate to the liver. As they reaches to the liver, they enters the hepatocytes and asexually reproduces into many inside the cell. The cell goes burst and they are released, which will enter the other liver cells. These are known as merozoites. These merozoites multiply and then moves to the RBCs. When they enter the RBC, they start growing. They develop big and form a ring trophozoite. This ring structure is then developing into schizont with the many nuclei. After that, merozoites are formed. These merozoites lead to the bursting of the RBC along with the release of hemozoin. Now, These released merozoites enter the other RBCs. Sometimes, as I told you, some of the ring trophozoites do not convert into merozoites but convert into male and female gametocytes. These male and female gametocyte containing RBC do not burst. They flow in the blood. When mosquito sucks the blood, they enter the gut of the mosquito. They develop into gametes over there in the gut of the mosquito. Then they fertilize and form zygote. After development, it forms a cyst, which is when burst, release sporozoites. These sporozoites enter the salivary gland of the mosquito. Now, this mosquito is ready to infect another healthy human being, causing malaria in it. So, this way, the cycle completes. Next disease is amoebiasis. We have already studied about amoeba, that is a unicellular organism. Similar to the amoeba is Entamoeba histolytica, which is also a protozoan parasite that attacks the large intestine of the human and causes amoebiasis, also known as amoebic dysentery. Symptoms include constipation, abdominal pain, cramps, stool with excess mucus, and blood clots. Vectors are house flies and they serve to transmit the parasite from the feces of infected person to the food and food products, thereby contaminating them. So, drinking water and food contaminated by the fecal discharge is the main source of this infection. Next is Ascariasis. Ascariasis, it is a common roundworm disease that is named as Ascaris. Wucheria is a filarial worm, are some of the helminths which are known to be pathogenic to men. Ascariasis is caused by Ascaris, which is an intestinal parasite. Symptoms of these disease include internal bleeding, muscular pain, fever, anemia, and blockage of intestinal passage. The eggs of the parasite are excreted along with the feces of infected person, which contaminate soil, water, plants, etc. A healthy person acquires this infection through contaminated water, vegetable, fruits, and etc. Now, try to emphasize on the point that contaminated food and water are the major resources for infectious diseases. So, we should take care while consuming food and water, because if it is contaminated, if it is taken from an open resource, then it may cause disease to us. Next is Wucheria, that is the filarial worm. It causes elephantiasis or filariasis. It is a slowly developing um, worm which causes chronic inflammation of the organ in which they live for many years. Usually, lymphatic vessels of lower limbs are their target site. We can see here in this figure, the man is suffering from elephantiasis or filariasis caused by Wucheria. It is elephantiasis name is given because the uh, leg of the person looks like the leg of elephant, and it is caused due to the infection. After which the genital organs are also often affected, resulting in gross deformities. Pathogen transmission from a healthy person is by the bite of female mosquito vectors, as we have studied in malaria. Many fungi also cause infectious diseases belonging to genera Microsporum, Trichophyton, and Epidermophyton. They are responsible for ringworm diseases, which is one of the most common infectious disease in a man. Appearance of scaly dry lesions on various parts of the bodies such as skin, nails and scalp. These lesions are accompanied with intense itching. Heat and moisture help these fungi to grow, which makes them thrive in skin folds, such as those in the groin or between the toes. What is groin? That is the space between the fingers of the hand or the toes. Ringworms are generally acquired from soil or by using towels, clothes, or even the comb of the infected individual. Hence, we must have the idea or awareness about the personal hygiene. We have already studied about how to maintain a good health. One of the factor was personal hygiene, hygienic food and water resources. So these are the things which, if we maintain, we can be away from the infectious diseases. Maintenance of personal and public hygiene is very important for the prevention and control of many of the infectious diseases. Measures for personal hygiene include: keep in mind and make the notes of it. First of all, keep the body clean. Second, consumption of clean drinking water, food, vegetable, fruits, etc. For this, for vegetable and fruit, you must wash them before eating. For food, never purchase the food from the food vendors. Never eat the food which is kept open. While drinking water, you must keep in mind the water should be clean, purified, okay, so that we can keep away ourselves from these diseases. Periodic, okay, public hygiene includes proper disposal of waste. It is also a very important aspect that how to dispose the waste. If the waste is disposed properly, so the transmission of the disease is not a big factor. Then comes proper disposal of excreta also, periodic cleaning and disinfection of water reservoirs. We have reservoirs, but if they are not cleaned and disinfected, then they may be the reservoirs for these parasites. Pools, cesspools, tanks, etc. Observing standard practices of hygiene in public catering, that must be seen while someone offers you the food in the catering. You should see the hygiene maintained over there, and after that only you should consume the food. These measures are particularly essential where the infectious agents are transmitted through food and water, such as typhoid, amoebiasis, ascariasis, etc. In cases of airborne diseases such as pneumonia, common cold, in addition to the above measures, close contact with the infected person or their belonging should be avoided. For diseases such as malaria and filariasis that are transmitted through insect vectors, important measure is to control and eliminate the vectors from the places where you reside. So remove their breeding areas, no stagnation of water in or around the residential area, regular cleaning of the household coolers, use of mosquito nets, introducing fishes like gambusa if you have a pond near your residence that feed on mosquito larvae and controls the insects, spraying insecticides in ditches and drainage areas and swamps, etc. In short, if you can control the spreading of vectors, insect vectors, you can control these diseases. In addition, doors and windows should be provided with a wire mesh to prevent the entry of the mosquitoes. Such precautions have become all the more important, especially in the light of the recent widespread incidences of vector borne diseases like dengue, chikungunya, in many parts of India. They are spread by Aedes mosquito. The advancements made in the biological science have armed us to effectively deal with many infectious diseases. The uses of vaccine and immunization programs have enabled us to completely eradicate a deadly disease like smallpox. But always keep in mind that whenever a a disease starts spreading among human, first of all, only the preventive measures are there which can control it. Afterwards, we have vaccines for that. Okay, so a large number of other infectious diseases like polio, diphtheria, pneumonia, tetanus, smallpox have been controlled to a large extent by use of vaccine. Biotechnology, which we will be studying ahead in the standard 12 only, is at verge of making available newer and safer vaccines. Discovery of antibiotics and various other drugs has also enabled us to effectively treat infectious diseases. With this, we'll complete this lecture and we'll see the other topics like immunity in the next chapter.